What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Charles Oliveira talks about Ilia Topuria loss. In the main event at UFC 317, Charles Oliveira was on the wrong end of a highlight reel knockout at the hands of Ilia Topuria. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video to help support the channel. This week, Do Bronx reflected on the fight and the loss during a Portuguese-speaking interview with AG Fight, revealing that when the fight started, he abandoned his game plan. I would change everything, not in training, but in the fight. Everything I trained, I didn't put into practice. I didn't do any of what I trained for. Everything that we did, nothing was done within the fight. It's been a lot of years in there. I had never been knocked out like that. Oliveira also opened up on the confusion caused by the knockout, which he said is something he hadn't experienced throughout his career. I asked several times what happened, how I was, where I was. Diego and my wife, the family, everyone was there. Calm down, breathe. Then we talked, and I said, no, it's fine. But it had never really happened like that. It's bad, but it's part of it. While the loss has knocked Oliveira down to number 3 on the UFC's lightweight rankings, the former champion is eager to get back in the octagon and return to the win column. During the interview, he expressed an interest in running things back with Max Holloway, who he fought way back in 2015. At the time, the fight ended in bizarre fashion, with Oliveira falling to the ground, clutching his throat. Initially, it was believed that he suffered a torn esophagus. However, Do Bronx wound up revealing that he didn't tear his esophagus after all. Instead, he blamed the situation on a neck injury he believes was re-aggravated in the fight. As he revealed several years ago, the situation wound up leading to him being temporarily paralyzed for several days following the fight. Now, a full decade later, Oliveira is eager to run things back with the former featherweight kingpin. I really asked for this fight. Why not? It would be a great fight. He already said he would fight too, so why not? But let's take a step slowly. While Holloway is gearing up for a fight with Dustin Poirier next weekend, win or lose, a rematch with Oliveira would likely go over well with fans. Islam Makhachev versus JDM not happening in Abu Dhabi. Ali Abdelaziz made an appearance on Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo's Pound for Pound podcast this morning. Honestly, it's a really good episode to check out with a lot of information being revealed. One of the things Ali talked about was Islam Makhachev moving up to 170 and the whole Ilia Topuria situation that happened. Abdelaziz also revealed that Makhachev versus JDM will not be happening on the Abu Dhabi card, and instead, they will fight in a quote, big arena in the US. Check this out.
Bilal would have won. Islam would have fought Ilia. That was the plan. He would have fought Ilia. 100%. Like a lot of people saying all this stuff. He would have fought Ilia.
Hunter went over to Dagestan.
2-3 weeks.
And
I sent him to Dagestan.
you sent him
I sent
3
him
weeks, 2-3 years, forget?
I said, Islam said, I will not fight Bilal. But, Bilal ended up losing. Islam fighting Mandalena. I truly believe Islam is going to beat him. It's not going to be in Abu Dhabi.
I don't know where
Makhachev is not going to be in Abu Dhabi.
I don't know where the fight's going to take place yet.
I can tell you. It will take a place in the US.
Really? Okay.
In a big arena. One of the biggest arenas on the planet.
Abdelaziz also revealed that the UFC was planning on making Israel Adesanya versus Kamaru Usman at middleweight when both fighters were champions, but Kamaru Usman was against the idea. Former UFC fighter in serious accident. On Tuesday, former UFC champion Randy Couture was involved in a car accident while preparing for his National Hot Rod Association debut in Kansas City, Missouri. According to a report from TMZ Sports, Couture crashed his car while getting some laps in on the track and wound up needing to be airlifted to a local hospital. There, he was diagnosed with both first and second-degree burns, as well as smoke inhalation. Despite the situation, Couture, who famously won championships at light heavyweight and heavyweight while with the UFC, is expected to make a full recovery. However, there's been no word on when he may be released from the hospital or what his road to recovery will look like. Much like Ben Askren, though, it's clear that the MMA community will be behind him every step of the way. Max Holloway interested in an Ilia Topuria rematch at lightweight. In a recent interview, Max Holloway called out Ilia Topuria and said that he wants a rematch after watching him get the 155-pound title. Here's what Max had to say.
I was over the moon, a lot of people thought so. I'd be like, oh my God, what the hell? Why is he coming to 55? I was over the moon when he announced he's coming to 55. And then when I found out he got the title shot, I was like, oh my gosh. I think I was the happiest man alive. I have history with 2 guys. They're figuring out my fight, you know what I mean? We had this BMF title, so I know old boy likes walking around with a BMF title, but if he wants an authentic one, he knows where to find me, UFC is about moments, man. I make a moment just like with the 300, you know what I mean? We had the chances of making moments, and if I can go out there and get a moment and get everybody excited about it, who's to say that not fighting for a title come at the end of the year or early next year,
Do you want to see Max Holloway versus Ilia Topuria 2 at lightweight? Who do you think would win? Let us know in the comments below. UFC Updates. Ahead of this weekend's Lewis vs. Teixeira card in Tennessee, let's take a look at today's UFC updates, starting with a new addition to the UFC Vegas 108 card on August 2nd. According to MMA Fighting, Neil Magny will collide with Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos on the card, as Magny looks to snap a 2-fight skid, and dos Santos looks to bounce back from a loss to Chidi Njokwani in March. Next up, we got a new addition to the UFC Fight Night Paris card in September, with William Gomez set to fight Robert Ruchala. This fight will see Gomez look to bounce back from his first loss inside the octagon, while Ruchala looks to pick up a win in his UFC debut. And last but not least, we got 2 new additions to the Noche UFC card set for this September, with Jesus Aguilar set to fight Luis Gurule and Raquel Pennington set to fight Norma Dumont. Aguilar will be looking to get back in the win column against Gurule, following a decision loss to Rafael Estevam in February. On the flip side, Gurule will be looking to bounce back from a loss to Ode Osborne in his UFC debut. In the Pennington-Dumont fight, the former champion will be looking to bounce back from a UFC 307 loss to Juliana Pena, while on the flip side, Dumont will be looking to build on a 5-fight winning streak that most recently saw her defeat Irene Aldana in September. MMA community not happy with UFC 318 fight card. While the UFC 318 main event between Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier is poised to produce fireworks, fight fans are not overly enthusiastic about the rest of the main card, which will see Paulo Costa fight Roman Kopylov, Kevin Holland fight Daniel Rodriguez, Dan Ige fight Patricio Pitbull, and Michael Johnson fight Daniel Zellhuber. While we've seen plenty of examples in the past where cards that initially appear underwhelming wind up having some of the best fights of the year, fans aren't feeling the $79.99 price plus tax. As one fan wrote, "Not one belt on the line. The main fight should have been a co-main with an actual title fight." Another wants to skip past all the UFC's July cards. Boring, skip to August already, please. Others don't think the card is worth the cost of the pay-per-view. With the exception of the Holloway vs. Poirier fight, the rest of the card should be on a fight night. I initially saw it and thought it was good, forgetting that it's a pay-per-view. This is a good fight night card, not pay-per-view worthy. One shared a meme, joking, "Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway trying to carry this disgrace of a pay-per-view." Some think that, as the old saying goes, it's oftentimes the cards that don't jump off the page that produce the best fights. It's a terrible card, but I think the fight's gonna be good. Not everyone agrees, however. Weakest card all year. And some think the card may be the worst of all time. This might go down as one of the worst pay-per-view cards in UFC history. Whether the event winds up living up to Dana White's hype, only time will tell. For his part, the UFC CEO is hyped about the event, writing, "This card is so bad, the BMF card is officially finalized. This is going to be fun in New Orleans." Cory Sandhagen issues a warning for Sean O'Malley. Cory Sandhagen isn't writing Sean O'Malley off as a top contender just yet, but recently the bantamweight warned that Sugar needs to change some things if he wants to hunt for another belt. O'Malley's coming off a submission loss to Merab Dvalishvili last month, which marked the second time he's been defeated by the reigning bantamweight king. Merab ended O'Malley's reign last September by grinding his way to a unanimous decision win. As this video is being produced, it's not clear yet when and who O'Malley will fight next, since he's lost to Merab twice now, and because the last meeting was so decisive, some have wondered if Sugar should move up to 145 instead. But while talking to MMA Fighting, recently, Sandhagen was asked to weigh in on O'Malley's future, and whether he sees the star getting back to title contention. Sandhagen said this: "O'Malley kind of gets labeled as a star first before he gets labeled as a good fighter. I think O'Malley's a really good fighter. He's a super athletic guy also. So when you're that athletic, you're capable of making a lot of changes in your game and stuff. If you don't pick things up very quickly, it can be hard to change, but Sean definitely has that ability. Just him being a really good athlete, so I think he definitely can." Sandhagen also had this to say while referencing the fact that O'Malley struggled against the grappling machine known as Merab Dvalishvili. "I think he just has to change a few things, not like in his personal life, but in his technical fighting style of stuff, and then just be able to grapple with these guys that are really good grapplers. He got away for a long time just being able to one-shot knock people out. Now he's facing some for real, well-rounded, really good fighters, and you just can't be a one-trick pony anymore." Now, it is true that Sandhagen, like O'Malley, is also more so known as a striker, but according to Sandhagen, he's prepared to battle Merab due to what he learned in his loss to Umar Nurmagomedov. There's that attitude going into fighting a wrestler, "Oh man, I want to stay out of the wrestling exchanges." I kind of made that mistake a little bit against Umar too, where I ran from the wrestling exchanges a little bit too much. I couldn't really do what I usually do, so I learned from that fight big time. That's not the way to approach someone who's a really good grappler and is going to make you work for stuff. Do you see Sandhagen actually beating Dvalishvili if and when the two fight? Fighter talks about wearing Alex Pereira custom shorts during MMA fight. UFC veteran Diego Brandao has raised eyebrows this year due to the fact that he's worn Alex Pereira custom shorts in 2 championship fights. But as it turns out, Brandao did not originally intend to honor Poatan. If you're an old school fan, you very likely remember Brandao. Not only did he win the Ultimate Fighter in 2011, but he was taken out by Conor McGregor in 2014 as the latter was becoming a massive star. Fast forward to today, and the now 38-year-old Brandao is the tough enough featherweight champ. Brandao won the belt in March and then defended it last month. As noted, Brandao was reportedly wearing Poatan custom shorts for both of those fights. While talking with MMA Fighting, the Brazilian fighter admitted that wearing Pereira shorts kind of happened by accident. I went to buy Jose Aldo shorts, Brazil, the yellow one. When I got to the UFC Performance Institute for the Jamie fight, there were no shorts. I was pissed. There are no shorts. I want to look like Jose Aldo. I want to dress nice for Dana White for them to see. When I got there and saw the name Pereira, these shorts are good. People told me, take this one. It's Alex Poatan. And my name, in case you don't know, is Diego Pereira Brandao. You know what? I'll fight with these shorts. Brandao also reported he's leaning into a new nickname that he's received, Mini Poatan. It's God, brother, because I won the fight and people are talking about the Poatan shorts a lot, calling me Mini Poatan. I love this. I shaved my head and it does look like Mini Poatan a little bit, but he's better. But it was something organic that happened. I wanted the yellow one like Jose Aldo. That's the one I wanted for my return to the United States, but got Poatan's instead. It was even better. So you'd think if Brandao continues to win, the Pereira shorts will remain a fixture for his fights. Dana White releases fighters from the UFC. This week, several fighters were removed from the UFC's active roster. According to the automated UFC roster tracker, Viviane Araújo, Jordan Vucenic, Angelusa, and Trevin Giles have all been released from the UFC. Araújo was coming off a loss to Tracy Cortez at the end of June, which dropped her to just 2-3 in her last 5, while Vucenic went 0-2 during his time with the promotion. Lusa, on the other hand, parts ways with the UFC on a 2-fight skid, while Trevin Giles heads into free agency in the midst of a 3-fight skid. Fans particularly weren't happy with Lusa and Vucenic being released, with Adam Martin writing, "No, not Lusa, the fight with Rowe was so good." Others argued Vucenic's case, with one fan expressing confidence he'll be back in the UFC's roster again soon. Jordan Vucenic deserved way better UFC revival than this. I'm sure he'll be back soon. As Andy Hickey concluded, Jordan Vucenic cut from the UFC, yet we have to suffer 200 random Americans in the UFC because they live close to venues. As we've seen in the past, fighters who get released can work their way back into the UFC, like Modestas Bukauskas. However, the road back to the octagon has proven to be tough for plenty of other fighters. We have a favor to ask. Help us reach 200,000 subscribers on MMA Zone by subscribing and turning on notifications for daily MMA content. Seriously, we rarely miss a day.